Hi, my name is Clint Johnson with Product Development for Polaris. I'm here to talk about our new CV boot repair kit. During our basic pre-ride inspection, you want to make sure you look at any abnormal areas where you can see a rip in the boot of the CV shafts. Looking here, you can see there's grease around the hub, there's grease around the wheel, which indicates that there's a rip in the boot. These next few steps I'm going to go through and talk about how we can repair that in the field. Now with the wheel removed, you can see here that the grease is on the back side of this hub, which means that we for sure have a failure of the boot. Now you want to make sure you repair the boot before you wreck any of the other internals of the CV joint. This is probably caused from grass and sticks getting into and penetrating the boot and causing it to rip. So with the Polaris CV boot repair kit, as you can see here, it's everything you need to make the fix is self-contained. You take the cover off, you got the clamps, you got the grease, and you got the boot itself. Now this boot is made to be used as the outer boot or the inside boot, depending on the failure. To start off, we want to make sure we remove the cotter pin from the axle nut. Using a pliers, pull it out, remove the castle nut, retaining the washers. Next, you want to remove the bolt from the upper control arm. Next, you would remove the brake caliper using these two bolts. Remove the caliper. Now you want to remove the hub from the axle. Pulling out, making sure to keep the bearing surface clean of debris. Now I can pull out the control arm bolt completely. Holding the control arm, I can pull the axle out of the carrier. Now we want to remove the boot. First of all, removing the clamps. Using a side cutter here, you can remove the clamp and now be able to cut off the boot using a side cutter. Now with the boot off, you can see that there's grease still inside. We'll need to clean all that off. Next, you want to use some lubricant on the cone to install the new boot onto the cone. Make sure to press firmly down, and you want to get it down to where it's down over the cone. Now with the new boot on the cone, we can insert the cone over the CV joint, pressing firmly and releasing it onto the shaft. Now with the new boot on, we can install the grease. You want to just tip the boot back so you have an opening, cutting a small hole in the pouch. You want to insert the grease. Now with the new boot on the shaft, we need to clean the surface where the bands would be so that the boot can stay sealed on the joint and the shaft. Next, we want to install the clamps. Using pliers, you want to bend over on the clamp and use the tabs to secure it. Now with the clamps in place, we can go ahead and start reassembling the rear hub. We want to make sure the axle's through the bearing carrier and reinstall the hub and then reinstall the brake caliper. Make sure you torque to manufacturer's specs. Now with your new CV boot installed, you can finish out your day of riding. For more information, visit Polaris.com or your local Polaris dealer.